Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to continue on with some Transformers Legacy United offerings. We already did a couple of the deluxes, and as of right now, I'm not really into the Windblade or the Bumblebee. Not that I don't think they're good, but I'm happy with the Titans Return Windblade, and I just don't need an animated Bumblebee. Could that change? I don't know. We'll see. But we're going to move on from the deluxes, at least for now, and go into a couple of the core class offerings. And we're going to start with this guy. It is Tasmania Kid. Tasmania Kid. I think that's great. Some will know him as Snarl. Tasmania Kid, of course, is from Beast Wars 2, and he's going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you are at it, light 'em up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton, and it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, all of that has links in the description down below, also linked in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And this is Tasmania Kid from Beast Wars 2. Not the, I guess, Beast Wars 2 character that's necessarily the best known, though he was somewhat prolific in the series. Not necessarily my favorite Beast Wars 2 character, but I am glad to add him to the ranks, especially since I have Lio Convoy. And Lio Jr., though that's a KO. And I suppose you could say that I have Skywarp or Silverbolt. It's the one that came with, maybe it was Mirage, the Battlecross Time pack, the one that was the reuse of the Air Razor mold from Kingdom. So I have a nice little force of Beast Wars 2 now. I'm glad that this guy's Tasmania Kid rather than Snarl, because quite frankly, I know him as Tasmania Kid rather than Snarl. Snarl wasn't in the fiction that I know of. Tasmania Kid was. This is definitely more toy accurate than I think animation accurate, at least in the Tasmanian Devil mode. So, all of that said, when we go over to the table, we're going to talk a little bit about the character, a little bit about what a Tasmanian Devil is like, and we're going to take a look at this guy. I like him. I'm not going to lie. I like him. He's not perfect, but I do like him. Without any further ado, how about we head over to the table and take a closer look at this lad. And so today we continue on by delving into core class of Legacy United and Beast Wars 2 with Tasmania Kid. Some people will know this mold as Beast Wars Snarl. I am a fan of Beast Wars 2, so I'm kind of happy to have Tasmania Kid and have it be Tasmania Kid. Of course, before we get into him and his little Tasmanian Devil alt mode, we have to take a look at that packaging first. And this is the Legacy United packaging for Tasmania Kid. Of course, you see him up here in his Tasmanian Devil alt mode. Not much else on the front. Over here we have a close-up of his Tasmanian Devil alt mode. We have the artwork that's typical of this on the side in the 40th anniversary, and of course on the back we have the product images in both modes. Our little guy here comes with some pretty effective instructions, at least for the most part. And here we have Tasmania Kid next to the Generations Gears. I just wanted something for a comparison. Of course, Gears is a Legends class offering from several years ago now. And Tasmania Kid is a core class offering, but as you can see, core class and Legends class, they're really the same thing, right? As a matter of fact, I am really impressed with the Tasmania Kid here because he clocks in at 33 grams compared to the 35 grams of Gears, a traditional Legends class offering. And I would venture to say that the engineering on Tasmania Kid is a bit better. So he's a few dollars more than this guy was, but I kind of get it because of the extra engineering. Very happy that he has the mask that he has. That's a great start for this guy. In terms of the look for him, starting from the feet and working our way up, it's pretty good. I mean, his feet should be open mouths of the Tasmania Devil mode, with the teeth kind of on the ground, which is exactly what we have here if you look at the side of his foot. The shins, they should be the brownie color. The Thighs, they should be black. Now the torso, kind of behind where that open mouthpiece and the chest is, that should be kind of black, but it's browny here. I'm fine with it. I'm okay with it being the color that it is, even though it's not quite right. The biceps, they should be black or like this gunmetal-y gray. The forearms, they should be partially this browny color, partially the gunmetal gray color, but doing it all as the browny color, I think makes sense for the legs. Like, I get it. You changed it over to the brown plastic at the ball peg for the elbow, so I get it. The head, that should certainly be black with blue eyes, and the beige up there. The mouth is, you know, I'm saying mouth, his tummy section should be red with the white teeth there, basically. Like, yeah, it's not bad. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. Now, of course, we don't have the backpack, really, like we have here. We don't have the backpack for the cartoon model. This harkens back to, like, the Basics release back in the 90s, I guess it was. Overall, you know, it's Tasmania Kid or Snarl, I think, even with the weirdo hands there. I do wish the claws on the hands were painted. White, I guess. But as it is, like, I think it's pretty good. I'm going to give it a solid 8.75. A couple of things that they could have improved on, but not too bad. In terms of the articulation for the guy, we have a head that goes left, it goes right. I guess it can kind of look down and up a little bit like a wiggle. This arm can go all the way around, out to the side. The elbow, I guess, you know, is there because of the ball peg. That goes to 90 degrees. The bicep swivel, for lack of a better term. The wrist, because of transformation, goes up like this. It also rotates all the way around. The hand is weird, but that's because of it being, you know, used as a paw in the alt mode. With that said, we can also T-pose pretty good out to the side. The legs can go all the way out to the side. They can go all the way forward. I mean, they go back that far, which I think is fine. I mean, you got the backpack there. It is what it is. We have knee to, for sure, 90 degrees. And again, I guess kind of a swivel because of the ball peg at the knee. Feet go forward and back. No side to side. He stands solidly if you leave his tail in the back, which you can do. It's really for the alt mode. But, of course, in robot mode, you're supposed to take it off and using the peg that's on it, put it under his arm as like his blaster or whatever. He can also use this peg and hold it as a tail flail, I suppose you could say. For a core class, it has the articulation I would basically expect it to have. I'm going to give the articulation, I think you can do most of what you want with it. He's pretty solid. I'm going to give it a 9. So 8.75 and a 9. He's like a, you know, 8.85 or something now. Not too bad at all. Let's do the transformation so that we can get out of here. Oh, actually, I guess before that, I just want to show this real quick because it just seems like the right thing to do, and so you can get an idea of size for this guy. I'm just going to show him next to a couple of other characters before we do the transformation. And you can see him here next to Rattrap. They're pretty much the same size. Behind him is Lio Jr. It's a KO of the original, but it's basically deluxe size, and of course his leader being Lio Convoy next to him. And I think that this scale is actually pretty darn good. If I just take him out of it and take him out of it, you can get a little bit of a better take on the size here of Tasmania Kid next to Rattrap. I mean, Rattrap is definitely lighter and smaller. Tasmania Kid's a little bulkier, but they're about the same size. Okay, so he's scoring well so far. Let's do the transformation and see how that works out. We pick off the backpack and we flip out that essentially headpiece. We should be able to turn the head around, though we're not going to do really anything with it just yet. Then we want the shoulders to come all the way down. There's an armature in here, so bring them all the way down and kind of keep the arms out to the side. Bring that one all the way down. For now, kind of keep the arms out to the side. Just just because you got to kind of deal with the legs. So let's kind of deal with the legs next and get that done so that we can deal with the arms, get them out of the way. So the legs kind of come up and over the body, like they kind of come up around the thigh, and where the arms were, the legs now kind of come in over and start to sort of kind of come out over the top of the robot mode head, and you can close up the heel and the foot and bring down half of a Tasmanian devil head. We're going to do the same on the other side, where we are essentially bringing the hip up. You're going to have to rotate it a bit in order to finagle it up and over into place. Put the two halves of the feet together and snap in the head. And you can even at this point probably like kind of bring the robot mode head up. That becomes sort of part of the chest, kinda. Take these arms and they come down back. Make sure that they're pressed all the way down as far as they can go. I tend to take both biceps and push them together. We can turn the hands such that they straighten up. There's only one way for them to go. Unfortunately, doing this means that you're not really going to have a knee here. I guess you have an inside knee, but you're not going to have a regular like backwards knee. I think that's a little bit of a bummer, but not a deal breaker. Now we need to bring down all of these sections, and they fit a little precariously. As we bring them down, we're going to have a little tab up right here that should go into a little slot right here kind of behind the chest. One on the other side as well, and then this piece is supposed to fit down behind the head. There's a rectangular peg, I guess, there that should go into a little, see if I can show it, I don't know if I can, into like a little rectangular slot there after you put the kind of head pieces together. I don't find it likes to stay in on mine. It likes to pop out, but we'll see how well we can do with it. So we should be able to bring all of that down for now, bring all of that in for now. I find I really need to hold it here, and then I'll fold down the sides here, squeeze all of this in as much as I can, bring all of this down, bring down a paw, and boom. Oh, and by rights, there's little pegs back here that they should go on over as well. And I guess I should slot the tail in and up, and boom, in the end here we have Tasmania Kid in his Tasmanian Devil alt mode. And I just wanted to make sure that I had everything done as kind of solid as I could. There's a little gap that goes left around my head where that flap comes up and makes the top of the head. That's a nuisance, but a lot of pictures I've seen seem to have that little tiny gap, so it's probably common. The mouth does open and close, which is cool. The only articulation here on the front is forward and back, which is no real surprise. The tail doesn't articulate after it pegs in. I already talked about how we have kind of a backwards knee, and we have the like paws there. Real Tasmanian Devils are kind of an overall browny color, darker than this, don't really have the line on the top. In fact, there's 2 shades of brown in the animation model, so this is a little bit off from that. I feel like the whole coloring should have probably been a bit darker, now that I'm super familiar with Tasmanian Devils. My understanding is they are the largest carnivorous marsupial in existence. Yes, they eat meat. They also eat carrion, right? Dead meat. It's been postulated that, yeah, they probably can eat a human. I don't think that they would necessarily attack. I think that they kind of freeze up when humans come to them. But, I mean, beware if you're ever in Tasmania. And I think the only place in the world that they exist is in Tasmania. They are also, I don't think they're endangered yet, but they are also suffering many years now. Is my understanding. I could be wrong on this. Again, I'm not a Tasmanian Devil expert, but my understanding is that they suffer from a form of contagious cancer, where it forms basically, I guess, clusters around their mouth and makes it difficult to breathe and eat, and it's really been kind of decimating the species. So, you know, learned a little bit about Tasmania Devils as I went through here. However, in terms of having like a bite, in terms of their strength, they have one of the strongest bites of carnivores. One of very strong jaws apparently for what it is that they hunt. So while Tasmania Kid seems cute and little, because they're, these things range I think up to about 29 pounds, so they're the size of like a small dog. Apparently the Tasmania Devil can indeed inflict some damage, and apparently it does kind of go around circles and sort of act crazy when predators come and they have a threat of being attacked to try and scare them away. So, all of the stuff that we know from like Looney Tunes with Taz, all of the stuff that I very quickly looked up, and what we have seen in Beast Wars 2 from this guy, I'll kind of hold true for what a Tasmanian Devil is. Who knew? The transformation's all right. That little gap, like I said, is there. I'm going to give the transformation about a 9, only because on mine, that might just be my copy. I'm going to say it's about a 9. I'm going to be generous. I'm not going to hold that little gap to it because that's probably my fault. Overall, he was getting about an 8.85. This is a 9. You know what? He's like an 8.9, a 9. It's a great little version of a Beast Wars character that is probably a little more fringe for most people. People might overlook this, but you know what? He has a fun little core class offering. And here we are, and here he is. So, first things first, the look of the guy's pretty good. Certainly in robot mode, he looks a lot like he's supposed to. The backpack shouldn't be there, but you know what? It goes kind of back from the body nicely, and it really doesn't hinder any of his articulation. I think the hands are a bit weird, but I understand why they, were done this way since they become paws. I think the coloration is mostly correct. Granted, a couple of minor things, but nothing that I'm going to complain about. I'm glad that the tail can stay back here and work like a third stabilizing leg if you don't necessarily want it to, be placed on his arm. The articulation is exactly what I would expect for a core class or legends class offering. This guy has the mass of a traditional legends class, which I like, but I think the engineering is a little more interesting than what we typically got with a lot of legends offerings back in the day. I enjoy the transformation, but if the legs aren't perfectly right, you're going to have that little gap over the head. Not a big deal, not a huge deal breaker, but it is something worth noting. On the whole, I think he is a strong core class offering. He's not perfect, but he is a great addition to any Beast Wars force, to any maximal force. And at the end of the day, that's good enough for me. Let me know what you think about our buddy Tasmanian Kid here, or Snarl if you prefer that name. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button. Stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel, and especially don't forget that somehow, someway, each and every single solitary day, you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way, right here inside the videos.